Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for November 14th, 2021.
Held in right point by Skolzel. Left point, Riker Evans. On the power play, back to the midpoint. One-timer scores! Grab that puck. Stanislav Skolzel with his first career goal in the Western Hockey League. Dallas accepts a pass into the attacking zone for Regina. Centered in front, they score! Tanner Howe!
What a gorgeous pass by Boreavalis.
What a deflection. Look
What
at
a
that.
deflection as well. And
Well, Chris, I'm going to start this one off the way I started last week. And I said, what a difference a week can make. And what a difference a week can make. Because last week we were feeling pretty good. And coming into this week, we thought, hey, we got some good teams coming to town. We'll have some good games, some good tests. And part of that's true. We did have some good teams come into town. And we did have some good tests. Just didn't really step up to the challenge, it felt like, this week, hey?
Yeah, it was I think maybe recency bias. With the Saturday night game, it was a tough week.
It was a tough week. We'll go through the games like we typically do. Now, the Red Deer game, it was interesting. We lost this game. It was a good game. It was close. It really felt like it actually could have gone either way. It was interesting because actually when we were standing down there after we did the interviews post game with coaching and some players, and you know what, I felt disappointed because that was a winnable game. I felt like coming to that rink and that night and watching that game that was a missed opportunity, to be honest. I felt like we could have won that game. We did talk to Ken Schneider. He kind of said, we just didn't get great scoring opportunities, which is true. They were good at just limiting our opportunities, keeping us on the outside, not getting great shots. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I just felt like that was a missed one. It felt like coming to the rink, we actually had the opportunity. They were playing well. Yeah, it's going back to we were sitting up again in the press box and I was watching them play. There's still some things missing. It's just, we seem to hone in on, I know there's probably other things, we pick up on the zone exiting. How many times did we just see them? One time we literally saw them flip the puck up. It was just in the air and it was just a lob pass. And it's why? Why would you do that? You're giving up puck possession. It wasn't to change. It wasn't to do anything. It was just there was some missed, just bad play in that game, unfortunately. And it was a close game.
It was, yeah. And Red Deer's a sneaky team. They're big. They're older. They don't have any, standout guys, standout skill per se.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have guys that have some skill, but it's a scoring by committee type team, right?
Yeah, they don't have the elite draft picks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and you still see maybe a little bit of that Sutter touch where it's strong defensively, right? And you said, they limited the high quality scoring chances.
Yeah,
that night.
Another game with that top line of Nyhoff, Bedard, and Dubinsky not producing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was just it was a game that started well for the Pats. They got that quick goal. They just seemed to lose their mojo after a little while, and whether they got tired or ground down, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was too bad. I think it wasn't a shorthanded goal, but it was close to. We gave up. Yeah, just a missed opportunity. It was disappointing. I was disappointed in that one.
It was another first goal, shorthanded, that breakaway.
Okay. Yeah,
that was the game winner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, there. Yeah, shoot. Hey, just sucks. But one thing I do want to say is it was the Wednesday night, the day before the stat holiday for kids, the November 11th holiday, and the Pats gave away a ton of tickets, and that was the best crowd we've seen in the Brandt Center. And
in probably 3 years.
would you go that long?
Well, I think so. Since the Memorial Cup, like I haven't seen 56-92 in these. Oh well, I guess I'll say the last 2 seasons with fans after the Memorial Cup, right? I don't think there was 56-92 any of those 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know, but regardless, even just having kids and they're buzzing, right? And they're loud
like
and they're fun.
The buzz in the crowd, right?
Yeah, and
definitely.
It was even though we lost and it was disappointing, it was still a fairly kind of
good
fun
atmosphere.
game to be at. Yeah, there was good, and I compared it then to the Friday game, and I said to you at one point, it is dead in here. Like it is. There's no buzz, crowd noise, anything, and then there's a whistle, and all of a sudden the music's in your ears, and you're like, for God's sakes! And it's just like, it's like down and then up and down, and just like artificial noise, right? And it's like, but Wednesday you could feel it, you could hear it, and then that Saturday game it's in the lull, and
Friday,
the Friday game was just. Yeah.
And then
anyways, I'm
leading into
Saturday,
Saturday, I thought the attendance was going to be terrible on Saturday, but it was more than Friday. So, and you could tell it looked about the same.
Yeah.
So it was just a few more on Saturday.
That's super surprising. Is that Saturday?
Amount. And I mean, I went a little later. Like I walked in a couple minutes late, but getting to the game wasn't bad at all.
That's interesting. So, I thought it'd be a disaster.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I thought it would be. But I think it was late enough. I didn't leave my house till like 1:45. So
okay. Highlight of that game, Svozil gets his first goal. It was a nice goal too. Nice pass by Riker Evans, kind of like behind the back to Svozil. I don't know if it was a one. I can't remember if it was a one timer.
It was a one timer.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nice shot. We did talk to him afterwards. The interview is also posted on the Pats Twitter, so we won't play it here, but. If you want to listen to that, we'll retweet it along with some comments. But talking to him is interesting. He was saying, so he did win our Player of the Week poll this week. I think it might have been a little jaded for the voting, but that's what happens when you let the public decide. So. Just speaking to him, to be honest, with the first few games watching him, both of us not terribly impressed. Would you say?
No, but like we said, he coming over new country, new style of hockey, lots of things, new life now. Like totally. I couldn't imagine doing that at 17.
Yeah, I found him to be a little. His defensive game was a little weak. It's still not maybe like he's not a stay-at-home defenseman.
No.
He's got a little more offensive, and we were recognizing in the power play that they have set up with him. He's the guy on the blue line to start. Like he's the high man at some point. So
instead of a forward, they got the other D man on the blue line. Yeah.
So kind of interesting, but he had some comments. He said he settled into the type of game over the North American game now. He describes it much more physical. And he likes that about it. So just he feels
and I
like
think his game has come along.
Absolutely,
yeah.
I agree.
He's still. I think he's definitely thinking offense most of the time, but it's coming. Like can't expect him to jump in and just be.
There was one point.
Right
I think it was the Red Deer game we were watching, and I said, "This is where he was the single man on a 2-on-1." And I said to you, this is where he can prove it to us. And he played it very well, actually. So he does have some defensive ability. He's more of an offensive defenseman. I think that's just the player he is. So if you're watching him and expecting him to be a stay-at-home defenseman, it's not going to happen. He's probably going to get exposed sometimes, but I think he will start to generate some more offense as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Anyway, so that was kind of a bit of a tangent on the Red Deer game, but anything else you want to say regarding that?
No, that's it. We'll
All
move
right.
on to Edmonton here.
To Edmonton, we knew this was going to be a challenge. They've got, 3 first-round draft picks, including their goaltender.
Yep.
They got multiple other draft picks into the NHL. They're a talented team. And they're that next tier, right? Like, we're looking Winnipeg probably top tier, Edmonton behind them, and that's the kind of hockey they play, and that's the team. If you want to be the best, you're gonna have to play with them, and we did not play with them at all. It was, I guess we don't want to play with them, but that's the way it's gonna go. I think with that's where the Pats are at right now.
Yeah, you get Dylan Gunther back, first game back, a goal and 2 assists. Neighbors, they kept kind of Neighbors quiet, only 1 assist, but it was guys all up and down the lineup scoring. It wasn't just one guy or one line. Like,
Yeah,
it was an impressive.
exactly, and that's what I was thinking
impressive,
too. Was like, sure, we talk about these draft picks, NHL players, but it was actually they're not their big names. The guy that got first star hadn't even scored a goal that season, right? And he comes out and scores 2 against us, and I think he had some other points too. So, it wasn't just their big names that were doing it. It was they have some depth, and I think maybe we could pair up with that top line and maybe keep them quiet. But then, obviously our skill level falls off quite quickly compared to theirs, and we got exposed. It felt like.
Yeah, the second period was really, really tough. You're given. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Sim though, the goaltender. So we were wondering, who's gonna play? Keeper's not gonna play all these games. When will Sim get the start? He was not the issue at all. Like, I know they hung up 6 on him, but he looked actually fairly good. He was making the first stop a lot of time. The goals that got scored were based on Edmonton's skill, not Sim's lack thereof.
No, like there was, goals backdoor and stuff, and that he had no chance on. The breakaway. Gunther was on the breakaway, right? He went 5-hole. That's just a nice move.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was tough, and we thought, maybe Keeper will get that start and Sim will get Saturday, but they went with Sim against Edmonton. I think we all 3 of us with Kevin there were surprised with that decision, but
no,
I don't think Keeper would have changed the outcome of that game at all, right?
No.
There was some pushback in the third period, but the score was 5-1 at that point.
Yeah. Bedard finally got a few, but
yeah, it was nice to see him get a couple. A nice pass by Vallis on that first one, and just that beautiful shot on the second one.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, maybe he gets a couple here. Now we get him going again, right? He's been up and down, but that's what happens when you're 16 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice for him to get those. This is the cream of the crop of the CHL, so
yeah.
I wasn't as disappointed. And they didn't roll over though. That's the thing. They weren't just they were just outclassed. It was kind of as simple as that, right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't disappointed in the game. Yeah, obviously they lost, but I don't think there's much more they could have done to, try to win that game. They gave it all, and just wasn't to be on that night.
What was disappointing though was the Lethbridge game. This one they should have and could have won. I think you had a team in Lethbridge on a kind of on the tail end of a road swing here.
6-game losing streak.
Yeah, they are not an elite team either. And they made us look bad. They made us look really bad. This is the most disappointing game of the week by far. Sure, we have some injury bug, right, with Stringer, Smith, Brook.
Even Englot was kind of questionable, it seemed.
So Englot went out during the Edmonton game, but was back in the lineup for this. Who knows? Maybe because of how short they were. maybe they kind of said, you're gonna have to play a little gimpy, but
Yeah, he looked okay out there. It didn't seem like he was favoring anything or shying away from the physical play that he likes to play.
Okay.
But they also brought up Barnett.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I had to watch this
first
game on TV. How did he look? Was he noticeable? Did he get much ice time? Do you know?
He did get a decent amount for the fourth line, right? I mean, there's nothing flashy. You notice him out there with the cage on, so
yeah,
he was, nothing flashy at all, but a warm body in the lineup, I guess.
Yeah,
and go with there. But yeah, I mean, it was a total team lack. I don't know, say lack of effort, but it was just a total team loss. Like nothing looked good out there at all.
No one really to hang it on. Just the whole team, just not.
Yeah, good. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up the late one in the first, but then Whitehead comes down on a breakaway and hits the crossbar. That I don't know if that would have changed the game or anything, but
right.
I mean, that would have, at least you go into the break up one again. But
yeah,
it was. I don't even know what to say about the game.
Yeah, there's not much to say. It was just a crappy game. Only can go up from there, though, right? Let's hope.
I mean, Howe had a nice goal again with a nice pass from Vallis.
True. That was, we can talk about that. A little bit of a shake up in the lines. Hey, there's, they moved Bedard down, up, sideways. I don't know. They have 1-2, but I don't think how they put them out really matters. But
he was centering Howe and Vallis, but then by the end of the game, Carrier was in the middle of Howe and Bedard.
Okay.
So they changed it up, mid-game. I mean, it was too late already, but
yeah, I don't know. I liked that original line with Tanner Howe, Bedard, and Vallis. I feel like Vallis is a really good playmaker, and he'd be really good with those two. And I think you had to do something. You had to move Bedard around to something. Like, it was obviously something wasn't clicking. I think, and I saw it in preseason, the Dubinsky-Bedard seemed to have really good chemistry. Didn't translate into the regular season.
They went away from it, and then they went back to it, right?
Yeah, they tried
the last few games.
And they went, the whole line went pointless for how long. So you need to do something. They did so Bedard got those goals, but regardless, in the Edmonton game, but it just wasn't clicking. So I'm happy to see.
Yeah, you put him with Howe. He's the hottest guy on the team, right?
Yeah.
Like, I seen a tweet from the guy knowing PA, Dana Dirks. He's like, everybody's going for the Bedard show and staying for the Howe show.
Yeah,
that's not a bad comment, right? No. Like, Howe has been impressive, and can't say enough about his play lately.
Yeah, and it's kind of maybe a good thing, like for Bedard, like there's someone else stepping up and maybe taking some of the spotlight right now,
away,
which isn't maybe bad because Bedard's not producing, and rather having that negative spotlight. It's just not on him, right? It's on someone else who's doing well. If Howe wasn't there and everyone was doing terrible, there might be more of a negative spotlight on Connor.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's tough, right? Like, last year was different. Obviously, being in the hub, you're in one spot, you're just playing hockey. I mean, there's a few comments out there like, okay, there wasn't Euros. So there's, you got that skill there. There wasn't as many 20s. There's no road trips, so it's maybe a little easier on the guys. And Bedard, maybe he thrived in that environment. And then now with actual going to school every day, the road trips now, stuff like that. Then maybe he's struggling with. I mean, it's not like he's new to this game or anything, but I mean, don't want to make excuses for him, but he's just struggling. I mean, and he's still 16. So
yeah, he seems to not, even from the beginning of the season to now, there's just the little burst of the first step or something isn't as sharp. I don't know if maybe he's got like a little something nagging or what, but like he used to be able to deceptively get past that first defender or something like that. He'd be able to get around them, right? You'd see that, and guys would be like skating backwards and all of a sudden trying to turn around and catch up to him. But and maybe the defensemen are playing him a little different too, more physical, and they're not letting him get around. I'm noticing that too.
Yeah, I mean, they know what he can do, so that, like we said before, that teams are keen on him now, right? Like last year, okay, yeah, he's 15, yeah, he's supposed to be good, right? Like maybe teams not let off on him, but focused on other guys on the team, and he made them pay, right?
Yeah.
And now he's number one. He's the number one target, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of being physical, not to change the subject, but I noticed how I don't know if he's engaging with other guys at the face-off, but man, he's always in battles with the other winger, and he took that penalty on Saturday which led to a goal.
Yeah.
Right in, I don't know, what was it? It was right at the end of the second, I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct at 19:06 of the second. That led to the fourth goal. So that's 4-1 going into third. But yeah, I don't know what. I didn't actually see what happened. I don't know if he broke the guy's stick at the face-off or what. But I noticed guys are like, he's a smaller guy and he's taken a lot of beating. I think teams are obviously know what he can do.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from it either, though.
No, he doesn't.
He might be the one stirring it.
He could be, right? You never know.
Maybe a Marchand type guy, a little bit smaller, feisty, good skill.
Yeah, even like Dubinsky, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
How he was, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stirring the pot.
So, but I did notice that, like, he's taking a little bit of a beating.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Well, if anything, they do have some time to think about it. Only one game coming up this week. They're starting their road trip, the Exhibition road trip, the annual road trip. A little bit different this year, but this week it starts off in Moose Jaw on Saturday. And so Moose Jaw, as is usual, they're playing the same teams that we did. So they played Edmonton the day after us, and then they played Lethbridge the day after us, and they took Edmonton to shootout at that. So they played them quite a bit better. Lethbridge so they beat Lethbridge
3-2.
3-2. So, their Moose Jaw might be looking a little better. This could be a tough game as well. We got a week off, pretty much. Pats are gonna have to bring it. Moose Jaw's no slouch. I'm hoping Lethbridge was a good lesson, and we'll see what comes out on Saturday on the road.
Yeah, I think you got to have a better showing. I don't know what the coaches can do to get a little more out of this, but that was uninspiring, obviously. So
nothing like a good highway rivalry though to heat things back up, have a passionate game, and hopefully play better.
Yeah, that's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah. So around the league, just looking at the standings here, man, Winnipeg is ripping away with it. They are, again, went this week, won every game. They're sitting at 18 games played, 17 wins, 1 loss. Goal fours, 98 versus 31 against. Like, they took it to Saskatoon this weekend. They had a home and home. Man, they are looking unstoppable right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I hope for their sake we get to play through this season and they get something out of this, because this would be a really wasted, sad scenario if they just sort of win the East and that's that, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you look on the other side, Everett, they're 11-0-1, just a shootout loss on their record.
Yeah, Kamloops is 13-2.
Yeah.
So kind of the upper echelon, and then when it goes Winnipeg in the East now, back to East Winnipeg, and then to Edmonton, and I mean Edmonton's 12-3-2. Like they're really, Winnipeg is just pulling away.
Yeah, that's be interesting how long they can keep this going, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's obviously more than a hot streak at 17-1, but yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah. Not impressive. I did watch the end of the Saskatoon game against them in Winnipeg, and their crowd, man, is not not impressive at all.
Yeah.
And until they can figure something out with their arena and get settled in and get a home, I think that's gonna be a struggle. And that's a real shame. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
you look at their attendance the last 5 games. It says 1621. I don't know if that's full capacity, but there's 3 games at 1621. That's kind of an odd number to be.
Yeah, that must be a sellout.
But there's nowhere near a sellout.
No. And maybe they're selling the tickets, but butts in the seats are
showing up.
Not that. Yeah.
Most of their games are listed at 1621, and that's so I don't know what they're doing there, because that's
cooking the books.
Well, whatever. I mean, the attendance is not good, and we even looked at their other teams that they run in that whole corporation type deal. Their junior A teams are getting bantam numbers here in Regina, bantam numbers, so like double digits. Their junior A teams are getting double digit numbers. I don't know how you run a business with those kind of attendance numbers.
Yeah. Okay, anything else you want to go over?
I don't know. It's I think that's about it.
Okay, so one game this week. Chris and I are deciding if we'll do an episode for that. We kind of said if there's lots that goes on this week, and if it's a great game, we'll hit up and we'll do a single game episode. Otherwise, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like over the next couple of weeks. They're all away games, so we won't have a chance to really interview anyone. So just a little less content there. But we will be back. Just not quite sure when.
Yeah, maybe not till 29th.
Yeah,
have lots to talk about maybe. So
regardless, we'll be active on the Twitter at WHL Patscast, trying to get lots of content out there. Put a little Tanner Howe clip today. Sorry, it was just audio. Sorry if I misled anyone regarding that, but no, just some comments that we got over some of the past interviews of comments people have made about Tanner and his season thus far. So check that out. And we're active on Twitter. We'll talk about
our friends at Access hopped in and saved the day by throwing in a highlight pack.
Yeah, they got some video for Tanner.
Yeah. Thanks to those guys.
Yeah. So interact with us there. Usually lots of fun talking smack and whatnot. So till then, we will talk to you guys and won't see you at the rink for a while.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night. Patscast is a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. If you're interested in other homegrown podcasts with a wide variety of topics, check out saskpodcastnetwork.com.